Hey, it's Matt with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Thursday. It is July 27th. This will be our chart lesson for the day, and this will wrap us up for the week. No chart lessons on Fridays, and we finally got some movement today. And there were some chances to get on this ride. Um, like I said, you can't get lulled to sleep by this because you never know when this is going to happen right here. And we definitely got some movement today. I'm trying to back this out where it's a little bigger, but it's kind of hard because it's so much. Um, Show you the big picture again. We were just going sideways. It looked like it was going to be another tight range, and then suddenly it just sails off. And I'm sure there was something that came out, or some statement, or news item, or some kind of something that they'll say created this, but it doesn't matter. Um, if you're trading and prepared, you enter and you take it, you ride it wherever it takes you to. So, but let's talk about the trades, and we'll get through the day and we'll get through this week. But hopefully you made some money today, and like I said, you can't get too complacent because just when you think this thing's not going anywhere, you get a move like we had today. Big down move like that. So. Um, but first trade I saw was right at the 7 o'clock hour. Looked like we had a spiking channel going up, and then we start correcting, and we get a break here. You get a first entry long, pull back second entry. So there's a second entry long right there. It's a double test of this double bottom here, basically too. So it's looking like it's maybe going to range, but you definitely got this spiking channel, and you're probably going to get a retest of that high. So that's what we're looking for prices to go up. Pretty good signal bar here, but it backs up one more time. And a lot of times you'll see that traders want to see two failed attempts to go lower. And so you got your new low there, and there's your two failed attempts. And then notice how it rockets on up then. And so if you weren't already in, I would enter here. And if you were already in, I like adding on right there because you're making higher lows each time. Those are two pretty nice reversal bars. I mean, it takes when prices are trading all the way down here to these lows and then reverse and close all the way up here. It takes a lot of buying to do that, so that's a good sign. So of course we run up, we make a new high, and then we turn down. Um, it's tempting to enter here, but you just about always want to wait on that lower high. That doesn't come till down here, and it's right back into the support area right here. So I don't think I would enter right there. Plus, you want to draw that trend line. And so you get a little break, and so you're looking for prices to go test this low. But we just kind of go sideways here. And if this would have broke higher and then turned down, maybe. But I just don't like entering out of that. I don't think you want to enter there. You could treat that like a failed second entry long. It is a failed second entry long. But when we just kept, if we'd have got a break lower earlier, I'd say for sure you'd take it. And you could still argue for this one. I should probably make it green. But you really, when it started going sideways there and being right back into that resistance or that support right there, you're probably better off to wait. But if you want to be aggressive, there's some, it is a failed second entry long. And that's a pretty good move down. So we're probably going to test this again, but you never know if you might get hung up right back there to original support. There is enough room to get out really before here, and if you make a new low for sure, but you don't know for certain that's going to happen. And of course, you got a new high right here. You can notice those highs and you broke higher, so you can treat that like a new high. It's basically a new high, and then pull back first entry, pull back second entry. It didn't go lower again, so that one's only green. But this is a failed break lower. Most likely prices are going to come back and maybe test this and maybe go all the way back to the high again. So again, the only reason this one is green is because you got all that congestion across there, and it's just not a very good setup really. It is a second entry, and it's a fairly bullish bar. It could have easily closed on its high, just ticking back and forth there when it closed. So you could argue for that one, and you get a little lower high right here, but again, it never breaks lower. I still kind of like that trade. I really meant to mark that one as green too, and I forgot to. Um, but because it's a lower high there, it is a you can treat that like a high or low here as like a little pullback correction. So um, I like it. Again, it's it's not quite back inside the support resistance line. So for that reason, I only made it green. And if it would have ticked lower and maybe closed inside there, I probably would have made that blue. But with it being just with it setting up like it did there, it's still a little bit aggressive. So then of course we're moving up. We get our first break. You actually get a little two-legged correction. This would have been a place to consider going long if you had a signal bar, but that's too bearish. And then it just comes back up and tests the high again. And notice there's two little legs up there. And that again is a second entry long, but it's just a turn down. It's a, look how many times we tested that. So it's like another double test rule. And a nice bearish bar there when it broke lower. So I like going short there. You don't know that it's going to take off like this, but you figure it may come down. At that point, you probably got this line right here. You should have moved it down now. So you got plenty of room. And notice what happens. It runs down. It pulls back. And you may or may not have had that trend line. If you draw it right off those first couple of bars there, it matches up perfectly. There's one leg down, the correction, and then another leg down, and there's two little swings in that leg. So it's like a hidden second entry long that fails. Fairly bearish bar. This one could easily be green. But what your hope is that you're going to get a measured leg. And notice we pretty much got that. We actually went a few ticks further than that, but most of your close is basically a perfect measured leg. And then it bounces. You got a little trend line right there. And you get your close, and it attempts to go higher, but you're going to make a lower high here. I really didn't expect this to happen, but it did. And after you're two legs down with this little failure to go higher here, and you don't want to be going long because it's the first break of this trend channel, first close outside of it, and that's a pretty strong two legs down. So you're going to probably test this low. So that's what we're looking for here, but it just takes off. It comes back to the trend line again. You get a close outside, and it tries to go tries to make a new high again and turns back down. It actually went out the upper side first and then went out the lower side. It's a little bit aggressive because now you had a close outside and a big move down. So it's a little bit aggressive. You would want to measure this. And when we started going lower again here, you're looking for a measured move, and that's basically a perfect measured move. So this is getting a little risky in here. You're going to probably get a bounce soon. There is a failed second entry long right here too, and a big bearish bar, but you're going low at the low of the day, and I just don't think you want to risk that because at this point you're really looking for a bounce. And look what happens. You finally get that bounce. It shoots right through the EMA, no resistance at all. Gives you a failed second entry short. It actually goes lower first and then turns out and goes out the upper side. I like going long there. I really thought it would take on off there. Of course, it doesn't. It pulls back. And it comes back, and you get a double test here of that low right here. Let me make this a little bigger now. It's kind of hard to see that. And you get a double test and a nice reversal type bar. It's a second entry long as well. It's starting to look like, it's really not looking like a range yet. You're just looks like some strong support, but when it turns down up here again, then it's looking like a range. So that's a nice entry, and then it comes back, it tests it again, and gives you, you can get a double test of this area now, and it's that two attempts to go lower at that new low, and a bullish bar. Your stop has to go below this bar right here. That's really your signal bar. But I like going long there. You need to have room to get out, really. So You might let that break higher and drop a limit order, maybe right at that high or tick back, whatever it takes to get out there. But with it testing that low, you really expect that this trend may continue higher, and it does. But you end up with this is a trading range across here. By the time you get this turned down here, you got to treat this like a range, but it does have an upward bias to it. Um, and notice what happens. It turns out to be a failed break. It's tempting to go short right there, but it's right back into the EMA, the support resistance line. Wait and see if you get that reversal pattern. It does push on through and pull back and gives you a failed second entry long right there. And notice that's right off that trend line. Go short right there. And when it comes back and tests it again, it gives you another bearish bar. You'll probably come down here to test these lows. So I like going short one more time there. And there's another second entry short there that if it wasn't this time of day, I'd probably say that'd be worth taking as well. And it would have been good for another one, but it's after 2 o'clock, so I didn't mark it. But not a lot of trades today, but we had a lot of movement. And if you caught, you only had to catch one or two of these, and you can get several points off of them. So you don't need a lot of trades when you get a big trend like that. And once you know it's trending like this, I'd say from here down, I would start holding on to runners. Just seeing what you could get out of it until this trend line's broken, which came right here. And I might even hold on to a runner right here too, because if you do get another leg down, it's similar to this one. You got a long way to go. But that's really surprising. Like I said, you wouldn't expect with the price action we've had lately, but that's why you can't get married to, you can't get locked in and get lulled to sleep, because that's what these kind of days do to you. They will lull you to sleep, and they made it look like it was going to be another weak, boring day, and look what happens. So you got to be prepared, and then we ended up rallying back most of the day. I looked at this a couple different ways. It looks like there's maybe a channel right there as well, but it just doesn't. You get a couple of bounces off of it, but right here it just kind of pushes through. By this time you're more going sideways, and you may have looked at it like this too right here. You can see that pretty much does fit across there, and that would give you that might lead you to want to enter here. Plus you could treat that like a failed break lower as well. Notice that support coming across there, and you get that failed break lower, and then you bounce and get back inside. And it actually went lower and turns and goes out this way. So you could actually go long right there. I don't have a problem with that. I'm going ahead and mark it because somebody will probably ask me about it if I don't. And you can see that's definitely a viable trend across there. This really confirms it right here. That's your third touch, but you didn't really need that. You could use the support resistance as well. So, of course, you do have this trend line working down, so you did need to have room to get out before getting back up there. So, really, for the most part, you just really would have been trading this range here, and that still gives you all those same trades. So even if you didn't have this or this, you still got this range here that you can still justify every one of those trades. So there's multiple reasons for those trades. But that's pretty much it. I'm going to wrap it up for the week. We'll be back again to do it Monday. But I'm done for this week. I hope you had a good trading week. It seemed like there's something I wanted to discuss, but I can't remember what it is now. Anyway, I can't remember. It seemed like there was something else I wanted to talk about that somebody had asked me a question about, but it's not coming to mind now. I'm wanting to get out of here a little bit earlier today. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it Monday. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.